You're just like having a new weird friend that is also really smart and resourceful that lives on your computer. I was still in Morocco and someone sent me a tweet of a bug, and I literally just made a picture of the tweet, posted it on WhatsApp. It read the tweet, it understood that there was a bug, it checked out the Git repository, it fixed it, it did a commit, and then it replied to the person on Twitter that it's fixed now. This will lend away probably 80% of the apps that you have on your phone. Why should I use MyFitnessPal to track food when I have an infinitely resourceful assistant that already knows I'm making bad decisions and I'm Kentucky Fried Chicken? Those things are so resourceful, also in a scary way. It's like unshackled ChatGPT. A lot of people don't realize that if you give an AI access to your computer, they can basically do anything that you can do.
All right, welcome everyone. My guest today is Peter, creator of Claude, an AI assistant that you can just chat with in your messaging apps to get stuff done. And today is Peter is going to show us how to use Claude. And also Peter has a lot of really great hot takes about AI coding that I'm really excited to dig into. So welcome the other Peter.
Peter, thanks for having me.
Great to see you. So why don't we start by talking about Claude? So what exactly does Claude do at a high level, and why is it a lobster?
Yeah. So maybe I have a little bit of a backstory. Like when I came back from my retirement, let's say it like that, I kind of wanted a way to just check up on my computer from my phone, because I fully jumped on this whiteboarding trend. And then like your agents might run for half an hour while you eat, or they stop after 2 minutes because they have another question, and then you go back and you're like annoyed. But I kind of didn't build it because I assumed all the big labs would do that anyhow. It felt like such an obvious thing. Yeah. Like something where like a kind of a new kind of operating system almost, but didn't happen. And then it was like November, and it still didn't happen. I'm like, okay, I'll try something small. And the small thing was basically hooking up WhatsApp to Cloud Code. So you send a WhatsApp message, and it would literally open the binary like with the prompt and like return you the thing. Like very simple. It was like built in 1 hour, and it kind of got a life of its own. And now here we are. It's like, I think 300,000 lines of code. It does every messaging platform on earth. Not everyone, but like we're getting there. And I think it's kind of where things are going in the future. Like everybody will have an AI that is like super powerful and like follows them through their life. Turns out if you give an AI access to your computer, they can basically do anything that you can do on your computer.
Yeah, and it's got to a point where like you don't have to sit there and babysit it, right? You can just give it some prompts and commands, and it will do its thing for you, and you can check its work, and then that's it. You don't have to set a computer.
Yeah. So when I built it, I feel this project is like as much exploration as it is like technology, because it's a little bit of a new category. And then I was on a birthday trip for one of my friends in Morocco, and I catch myself using this thing all the time. It's like, hey, where are we going? Like asking for directions, or like tips for restaurants, or I don't know. There was like one morning where someone sent me a tweet of a bug, and I just literally just made a picture of the tweet, posted it on WhatsApp. It read the tweet, it understood that there was a bug in one of my repositories. It checked out the Git repository, it fixed it, it did a commit, and then it replied to the person on Twitter that it's fixed now. And I'm like,
really?
This is nice.
Wow.
And then one day I was walking around and I didn't think, and I just sent it a voice message. But I didn't build in support for voice message, and it was like it showed me the typing indicator. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's happening now. And then it just replied to me as if nothing would have happened. And I'm like,
wow,
how the F did you do that? And it was like, yeah, I saw a file, but there was no file ending because I didn't build it. So I looked at the header of the file, and it was like Opus, some audio file format. So I found FFmpeg on your computer, and I converted it to WAV. And then I looked for whisper.cpp, but you didn't have it installed. But I found this OpenAI key, and then I used curl to send it to OpenAI's API, and I got the transcript back, and then I replied to you. I'm like,
wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
like those things are so resourceful, also in a scary way. But that was kind of like the moment where it clicked for me. It's like, oh yeah, this is really powerful. This is much more interesting than using ChatGPT on the web, because it's like unshackled ChatGPT. And I think a lot of people don't realize that those things like Cloud Code, they're not just good for programming. They are very resourceful for any kind of problem.
Yeah, you just gotta give it access to like your computer and like be able to find stuff, right? So you just have to give it tools. They'll become very resourceful.
Yeah, so over the last few months, I kind of built up my CLI army, because what are agents good with? Calling CLIs, because that's what they train for. So I've built like CLIs for accessing all of Google, including like the Google Places API. I built one that makes it very easy to look up memes and GIFs, so you can also like reply with memes. I did a bunch of experiments. I even built one that visualizes sound, because I wanted it to like experience music. That goes a little bit more into the art direction. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyhow, it's a lot of fun. Like I have like a whole list. I built one that hacked into the food delivery here, so it can actually tell me how long it takes until my food's there. I have one that reverse engineered the 8-sleep API, so it actually can control the temperature of my bed.
Really? And real quick, like when you build all this stuff, you're just getting AI to build all this stuff, or what's going on?
The funny thing is, I was in my old company. I was very, very good at iOS and Mac OS, like the whole Apple ecosystem. I did it for 20 years. I'm like very much an expert in there. But also when I came back, I built a project where I'm kind of sick of Apple gating everything. And it also would make a lot more sense to build this web app, because it's kind of a thing that it should be in a browser and should be accessible. And if I do it as a Mac app again, it's like we'll have a very limited set of people that can use it. But I see this with a lot of engineers, where you're really good at one thing, and then moving to another technology is just so painful, because then you feel like sorry for the word, an idiot again. And you look up every little thing, like what's a prop, or like how do I split an array? Because you understand all the concepts, but you don't necessarily like know the syntax. So that's kind of like how I felt when I moved from Objective-C and Swift to JavaScript. Like I know JavaScript a little bit, but I never really built something big in TypeScript. And then it's not even that it's hard, it's just painful, because you have to look up all those things, and it's just so slow. Yeah. And then with AI, all that melts away. Like you can still apply your system level thinking. You're like, how do I build and structure bigger projects? Your taste, may I say, or like which dependencies do I build on? All these things are still valuable, and you can like much easier move that from one domain to the other.
Yeah.
And that felt like superpower. Suddenly, like I feel like I could build anything. Languages don't matter anymore. My engineering thinking mattered.
Yeah, because like trying to worry about like whether you have a parentheses here and there is lame, right? You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore.
This episode is brought to you by Granola. If you're in back-to-back meetings, you know how much work it is to take notes live and clean them up afterwards. That's why I love Granola, the best AI meeting notes app in the market. Here's how I use it. Granola automatically takes notes during a meeting, and I can add my own notes too. After the meeting ends, I use a Granola recipe to extract clear takeaways and next steps in the exact format that I want. Then I can just share notes directly in Slack with my colleagues, or even get Granola to share notes automatically. Honestly, of all the AI apps that I use, Granola is the one that saves me the most time. Try it now at granola.ai/Peter and use the code Peter to sign up and get 3 months free. That's granola.ai/Peter. Now back to our episode.
But dude, let's go back to Claude, like the thing that you built. Maybe you can screen share. Maybe you can show like how people can install the thing first. Like do you have to be super technical to use Claude, or no? Right? You can just install it and then get it to work.
Yeah. Yes and no. So fortunately and also unfortunately, this project attracts a lot of people that don't have a lot of clue about technology, because it lends away all these layers that make it complicated, right? If you use Cloud Code, you work in a terminal. You kind of have to think about the context space and what folder you're in, and like it feels very techy. More like talking to a thing on iMessage or WhatsApp or Telegram. You do it with your friends, and it's just like having a new weird friend that is also really smart and resourceful, that lives on your computer.
Yeah.
That makes the whole technology very approachable. You don't think about, what model do I pick, or what, it just works. And then that's kind of the idea. It's also like the good and bad part, because of course, with a lot of power comes a lot of risk, which is also unsolved. Like this thing is access to your computer. So yes, you could do bad things on your computer. If you tell it to like, I don't know, delete all my files in my home directory, it would probably like ask you, are you sure? But if you keep saying yes, it will probably comply and probably also delete itself and crash.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Yeah.
I'll let me share my screen so you see. So it's written in TypeScript.
Mm-hmm.
So it runs everywhere, even on Windows. You can just go on our website, ClawBot.
Yep.
And there's a handy one-liner. Looks very scary, but it's everything's open source. You can check everything, including the website.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the easiest way to install it. It works on macOS, Linux. It also works on Windows.
So just paste that into terminal, right? And then it'll start installing. Yeah.
You can also install the NPM for people who understand that ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that I did that I haven't seen in a lot of projects is also it has a hackable install. Again, a simple way and like the more manual way, where you basically check out the Git repository and then launch it from the Git repository, which is, to be fair, is like the most fun way to use it, because if your agent can read its own source code of its harness, it can literally reconfigure and reprogram itself and then restart and then either crash or have new powers.
Okay.
Like this, I think this is one of my superpowers where I got a lot of people participate in the project and like send me pull requests that never did a pull request. I mean, sometimes that also shows. But I see pull requests more often as a prompt request.
Yeah,
it's enough to like understand the intent.
And then after you install it, like how do you hook it up to a messaging app?
The nicest way is probably right now just using this one-liner, and then it will like greet you with some sassy stuff, and try to configure everything up.
Got it.
Install the package, and then just guide you through, and you can hook it up to any of the common messages. Okay. That looks good. It's working. Here, and then you can say ClawBot. It will do it automatically if it's a clean install, but now I have to type in onboard.
Got it.
And basically, then you have like, you can enter a model. You can, all providers. Let's say we go with Anthropic. Probably a new one. Then you can say let's have Telegram, Discord, and then it will guide you through the rest. You can like set up hooks.
And then do you have to give it your Anthropic API key?
It works with any model.
Yeah.
Although, you know, in industry like Anthropic and OpenAI are kind of like leading.
Yep.
It works with API keys. It works with subscriptions.
Okay.
Although there's been a little, we added support with it because it's kind of like what everyone does.
Yeah.
But I don't think Anthropic likes it anymore. So I would recommend using an API key or going with another model. There's the main problem is like OpenAI works well, but it's just not as funny. There's something special about Opus that makes it really, really fun.
Oh yeah, like the personality.
Yeah. I don't know if you've read this article about how they put a soul into the model.
Yeah.
And then people rediscovered it by like feeding it blocks of text and letting it like continue, and eventually they squeezed out the text of the soul that the model wasn't even aware it was being trained on. It's a really interesting story. I don't know that I feel that has something to do, but this is the first model that is actually funny to use. Like I built mine so that it can roast me. And it probably doesn't know that it's on camera right now.
and it's going to roast you based on what? It has access to all your computer stuff, right? So it's going to...
Here. Yeah. All right, you asked for it. You sold a wildly successful company, went on the world to find yourself, did therapy, tried everything. And your bigger relation was, I should build more software. You're so obsessed with AI tools that you literally built yourself a friend because debugging code is more fun than dating. And let's be honest, the only reason I existed is because you needed someone who'd listen to your Janeway hook takes at 2 a.m. as a judgment.
Wow.
Yeah. Now go kill that podcast. So I hooked it up to pretty much everything on my computer. It can read my emails. It can read my calendar. It can access to all my files. It can control my lights. I use Philips Hue.
Yeah.
It can control my Sonos. So like I can tell to wake me up in the morning, and I slowly like turn up the volume. It
great,
has
man.
access to my cameras. It was funny. Like when I built access to the cameras, I told it like watch for strangers, and then it told me in the morning like, Peter, there's someone, and I watched him the whole night, and it made like screenshots the whole night of like my couch, because there was like the camera is pretty blurry, and it looked like someone was sitting on the couch, and it assumed there was a stranger sitting on my couch the whole night.
Wow.
But yeah, I slowly it has. I'm actually thinking, like in my place in Vienna, it also has access to my KNX, so it can actually control every part. It could literally lock me out of my house, like in Space Odyssey. It's like, oh, can't do that.
Okay. How did you hook all this stuff up? You just ask Claude to do it, or what? You just
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
You know, there's this thing where we have skills. So usually you talk to it. It will. These things are really resourceful. So it will like figure out an API. It can Google for it. It can find your keys on your system. You can give it keys, and people use it for everything. People build like a skill so it goes shopping for them on Tesco, or buying stuff on Amazon. I let it check in my flight from British Airways, and this is actually, I don't know if you've used check-in sites. I feel like this is almost like the AGI test. It was a Turing test, but like steering a browser to check you in on an airline website is like the ultimate test. And then the first time my integration was pretty rough. So it took almost like 20 minutes. I was still in Morocco and everything was very much hacked together. And then it finally managed, but it actually had to find my passport in my file system. It found it on Dropbox, extract the key, put everything in it correct, and then finally checked me in. And I was like watching it and sweating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now it works much better. Now it's like it does it within minutes. So it also happily clicks the I am a human checks on the browser, because it literally just it literally just controls a browser on. It has its own little computer over there, and just clicks around. So it's like really, really difficult to detect from all those anti-bot systems, because it doesn't feel different from a human in those patterns.
Can you show us like just a couple more use cases? Like, can you maybe have it turn up the light or show some use cases from other folks?
Yes. So I started collecting because I feel I'm so bogged down in actually building it that by far I'm no longer the most creative one who actually use it. So people hooked it up to their messaging system, so can actually reply not just to you, but to everyone. And you can also hook it up into a group chat, which is even more fun. There's a lot of people that use it as the family member almost. Here, send me reminders, create GitHub issues, sync with Google Places, or every time you make a bookmark on Twitter, it will like capture the bookmark and add it to your to-do list.
Yeah.
Keeping track of costs. Some people, I programmed something in to like remind people that they sleep enough. So like they always get like bitched at when they're up at night from their bot. So it can help you track your sleep. It can access your fitness watch.
Wow.
It has its own little 1Password vault. So if I want a password shared, I move it into its own vault and it can access that one. Because you still want to have some boundaries. I mean, there's people who give it a credit card.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
It can do all those things like research, creating invoices, managing your email.
These people are like enthusiasts, right? Like they've really customized it to do whatever they want it to do. Like how about for someone who's just downloaded this thing, just download it for fresh install. And what are some like really common use cases that I can get it to do? Like just like manage my calendar, or stuff that doesn't delete my computer. Like what are some safe things to start with?
It's funny because everybody takes a very different path. There's like people who like install it and immediately build an iOS app with it, because it's also a coding agent. It can do anything. It can spawn sub agents. It can either code yourself, or it can like control Cloud Code or Codex and ask them to code. Yeah, this guy started immediately like managing Cloudflare. This one was great. Week 1, set up for my family. Week 2, set it up for some non-techie friends. Week 3, we're building Cloud for work. I hooked up one of my non-techie friends, and like he started sending pull requests. He never did it in his life. Yeah, fitness is a big thing.
Okay, so basically it's kind of like you really have to. I guess the way to use this thing is just to think about what's causing problems in your life and how you can get this personal assistant to help you streamline everything.
I don't know if this is the project that's going to be, but if you think about it, this will blend away probably 80% of the apps that you have on your phone. Why should I use MyFitnessPal to track food when I have an infinitely resourceful assistant that already knows I'm making bad decisions and I'm Kentucky Fried Chicken. So it will probably like remind me if I forget tracking the food, or I can just send it a picture and it will store it itself in the database and calculate it and roast me that I should go to the gym because I'm like way over my calorie limit.
Yeah.
Why do I need an app to like set up when my ASIP should work or not? Because it just has API access. It can just do that for me. Why do I need a to-do app when it just tracks my to-dos for me? Why do I need an app to like check in on my flights when it can just do that for me? And it's like such a more convenient interface because I just talk to a friend.
Yeah.
And because it has so much context, it doesn't need so much custom prompting. Like, why do I need a shopping app when it literally can like recommend me things and do all of that for me? So I feel there's a whole layer of apps that will slowly melt away because if they have an API, these are just services that your AI will do. And in a year, I don't know, I think actually this year will be the year where a lot of people will explore it more and like get their AI assistants from all those big companies.
Yeah, I think why click on these little self-contained little apps when like this assistant has a bunch of capabilities, can just do everything, right? Just connect it to everything. And I guess the way you connect it to everything is just like you send it a text message or something, and then it's like, oh, can you do this? And then they're like, oh, I need to do some research, and then it just takes care of it. You just kind of go back and forth with it and make it happen, right?
Yeah, and then it writes a skill and it remembers. So part of what makes it so interesting is that it has persistent memory. It will learn about you and it will update itself. So the more you use it, the more you customize it, and the more powerful it gets because okay, maybe the first time you have to like guide it a little bit, but then it will create a skill, and then next time you can just mention it. Next time I need to like check in my flight, it will take like 2 minutes because it exactly knows all the quirks of the website. Yeah, because it did it before and it made notes.
Got it. Yeah, it's like teaching someone to just learn something and they can do it easily the next time. Yeah. All right, man. Let's talk about another topic. Let's talk about, you came back from retirement to build this thing, and you have very strong opinions about AI coding, like some pretty hot takes. So let's talk about some of those. Like you wrote this post that I really like called "Just Talk to It," and then these days everyone on X is writing about like all this fancy shit, right? Like all this like hook skills and all that kind of stuff. So what's the gist of that post? Is it just talk to the AI and figure it out?
No, but I work a lot. I build a lot of things, and I love Twitter as well, so I'm very active there. And I just see so much. I kind of call it the agentic trap, because people discover that those agents are amazing, but it would be better if they could do a little bit more. And then they really fall deep into this rabbit hole. And I've been there myself, where you build really sophisticated tools to like try to accelerate your workflow. But in the end, you're just building tools. You're not actually building something that really brings you forward. You just have this, part of the problem is that it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like when I started pretty early, I worked on Vibe Tunnel to have access of my terminals on my phone. And I was in this rabbit hole for 2 months until it was so good that I was out with my friends and instead of like joining the conversation in the restaurant, I was just like vibe coding on my phone. And I decided, okay, I have to stop this just more for my mental health than for anything else. And these days you can build everything, but you still need ideas. So I see so many managers for Cloud Code or Codex or like orchestrators or other little things that have the illusion of making you more productive, but really aren't. I mean, like the latest thing that I just cracked about is like Gastown. It's like a really sophisticated orchestrator that is like also very broken and doesn't really work, where you like run tens or 20s of agents simultaneously and they all talk to each other and like try to split up, and there's like watchers and overseers and a mayor and polecats and I don't know what else.
Really?
There's a mayor, yeah. In Gaston, there's a mayor. I mean, I call it Slop Town. Or like this whole trend of Ralphing, where you just like you give the AI one little thing, and then like you write in a loop, and then if the one little thing is done, you trash away all your context and you start again. Like the ultimate token burn machine.
Yeah.
And then it can create code and run all night, and then you have like the ultimate slop. Because what those agents don't really do yet is have taste. They are spiky smart, and they're really good at things. But if you don't navigate them well, if you don't have a vision of what you're gonna build, it's still gonna be slop. If you don't ask the right questions, it's still gonna be slop. And I don't know how other people work, but when I start a project, I have like this very rough idea what it could be. And as I build it and as I play with it and as I feel it, my vision gets more clear, and like I get like, I try out things, some things don't work, and I evolve my idea into what it will become. And that's like my next prompt depends on what I see and feel and think about the current state of the project.
Yeah.
But if you try to put everything into a spec up front, you miss this kind of like human machine loop. And then I don't know how something good can come out without having feelings in the loop, almost like taste. So it was like somebody tweeted like, "Oh, look at this Mac app! Like it was fully roughed," and I replied, "Yeah, it looks roughed." Like, no offense, but it looks rough, because like you could clearly see that like no sane person would design it that way.
Yeah, it feels like some people are just like actually building these things not for the apps themselves, but to prove that they can get it to run for like 24 hours, like get AI to run for 24 hours without intervention, right? It's like self-masturbatory kind of thing, right? You're just trying to prove that you can get AI to run super long time.
It's like a size comparison context without saying the other word in a way. And I've been guilty a little bit of that myself. Like I also had like a loop for 26 hours and I was very proud. But it's a vanity metric. That makes no sense. It's like, just because you can build everything doesn't mean you should or that it's going to be good. But then again, this phase of I'm just playing, I'm just like literally I'm building for fun. It doesn't matter if it's going to be used. This is incredibly useful because that's how you learn, right? That's how we learn to program, and prompting is just a different skill. Sometimes I see people that they're like a little more on the AI skeptical side, so they ignore it for a year, and then they spend one day where they evaluate the models, and then they do a blog post, and then they write like a short prompt and feed it, I don't know, into Claude Web to make him an iPhone app, which like is completely under spec, and the model does its best to deliver something, and then like it doesn't compile because they build it on a Linux machine where there's no compiler for that, you know? And then you're like, oh, AI is not good. And then they dismiss the whole topic for a year. It's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You need to play to understand how those little monsters work. You need to understand a little bit their language, their way of inference, of thinking.
Yeah.
And then you get progressively better at it. And then your output will be better.
Yeah, you have to be persistent, right? Because sometimes it doesn't work properly and you have to fix all the bugs. And then if you just keep playing with it, you develop this, like, I guess, product sense or whatever of actually learning how to talk to the models and learning what they can do. So
I mean, partly it's been really weird because I'm adopting some of the language. It's like I'm thinking of like, oh, you weave a feature in, kind of like you like a in German it's Faden, a twin, a twirl, or you run the gate, which like a linting and testing and building, and it looks like a big line in the terminal, which is like the gate. So I'm like, weave it in, run full gate, LMPR. Sometimes things doesn't work out, and then you can just ask, why did you not do? And then it will tell you, you said this and this, and I assumed this and this. And it's like, oh yeah, I messed up on the language. I was unclear. Like if you just tell it, build me a Mac app, it would probably assume that you want to support a lot of old operating systems because the majority of software does. So it will use old API.
I found that asking it to like just ask a bunch of clarifying questions to then make you clarify stuff helps a lot. Yeah,
it's also funny because I like Codex Modern Cloud Code. I think it's the better model, even though it's incredibly slow, but it's thorough and things work. And people complain that there's no plan mode, right?
Yeah.
And my joke is always plan mode was a hack that Anthropic had to add because the model is so trigger friendly and would just run off and build code. If you use in the latest models, especially like GPT 5.2, I'm just having a conversation. I'm like, hey, I want to build this and this feature. It should do this and this and this, and maybe drag in a screenshot through like I like this design or this and this. Give me options. Just say, let's discuss. Give me options. And then they have a conversation with it, and then the model will propose something, and they're like, I mean, I usually don't type. I talk to it.
Yeah.
Staying on brand.
Do you do anything to manage the context? Once you have a conversation with it, it can get really long and it can get confused. Do you try to do you make it manually compact or summarize stuff?
I feel that this is also like old patterns. This was very much a problem with Cloud Code. Still is to a point. Codex is so much more. The context lasts so much longer, even though like on paper it's maybe like 30% more, but it feels more like 2 or 3x more. I think a lot of it has to do with like the internal thinking. The internal thinking of GPT models is really effing weird. But yeah, like for context management, I think this was much more a problem in the earlier models. Now, most of my features fit into one window, so the whole discussion and building happens simultaneously.
Okay, got it.
And that works fine. Like sometimes, if it's a really long thing, I create a new one. You like want to like codify it in a file. But this is much less of a problem than it was before. That's again like the space evolves so fast. You just have to try things.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Got it. So basically, just to summarize, like basically when you add a new feature to Cloud or whatever you're building, like maybe just walk through the steps. Like first you explore the problem and the solutions with the AI, and then do you actually make a plan at all, or just go?
It's even better. Like I built this project, and which is kind of like a mix between Jarvis and Her.
Her, okay, the movie,
yeah. But it's very difficult to convey how it makes you feel and how useful it is just by talking about it.
Yeah.
So on Twitter, it got me very muted traction. I'm like, I don't get it. Like everyone I show it in person gets super excited because they see me interact with it and like showing off all the cool things. But you can't get across the same thing on a picture when I talk about it. So eventually I created a Discord, and I just hooked up my bot to Discord so that people could interact with my AI that has full access to everything on my system with my private memory on a public Discord, like the most nuts thing that I ever did, I think. And then people got hooked. And now like people always ask me can you build this feature or this and this bug? And most of the time I now approach it by making a literal screenshot of the conversation, dragging it into the terminal, or just copying the text, depending on how it is, and just ask, hey, let's discuss this. Because I'm lazy. I don't even have to type anymore. I just like copy in Discord conversations. Or the same also when people ask, hey, do you support this and this, or how do I do this and this? I'm just like, can you read the code and write a new FAQ entry? And it does that. So these days it's actually how I start building features most of the time. But like reading on Discord and seeing where people have pain points.
Oh my God. So you just paste the conversation and you just talk to AI about it and you figure out what the right solution is.
Partly that, partly also I have a scraper. So at least once a day I scrape the help section and ask the model, what are the biggest pain points? And then we fix them.
And do you do all the fancy shit? Like, do you have like multiple agents and like, you have those crazy skills and stuff that you run, or no, you just go?
I have most of my skills are actually personal life skills, like food tracking or buying groceries or like that kind of stuff. For coding, very little, because you don't need that much. I don't use MCPs or any of that crap. I don't believe in this big orchestration systems, because like we talked before, I feel if I'm in the loop, I can build a product that feels better. Maybe there's ways to like build it faster, but I'm already so fast. I'm mostly limited by thinking about it, and sometimes a little bit by waiting for codecs, but mostly it's my thinking that's the limiting factor. I just used a bunch of terminals like split screen. I don't use work trees because again, I feel it's just like unneeded complexity. I just have like a few checkouts of the repository, like CloudPod 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then like either they're free or they're working on something. Either I'm like exploring something, or like I'm building something, or I'm fixing something. And then when it's done, I test it locally, and then I push it to main, and then I sync it up. So it feels a little bit. It also feels a little bit like a factory if they're all busy. But if you only work on one, it's very hard to actually get into the zone because it's just too slow, and
you have to wait. Yeah, you have to wait for it to do work.
You can only shit post on Twitter so much. So I feel I need multiple ones to really keep me hooked and get into the same flow state that I had when coding, just that I'm like insanely more productive.
Dude, I don't know if you play like real-time strategy games before, but like it's kind of like, you have like a squad of people attacking, and then you kind of have to monitor and manage them, right? And that's kind of how you get in the zone.
My business partner from my previous company also totally got hooked on CloudBot, and he's more from the business side. He was a lawyer in a past life, and he's now sending me pull requests, which is like insane in its own way. How AI gave people superpowers that are not that technical to still build things is amazing. Yeah. I know there's a lot of pushback because yes, this might not be perfect, but I treat pull requests more as prompt requests because they convey the idea, and most people just don't have the same system understanding. So they're not be able to like derive the model in a way to give optimal results. So I just rather have the prompt, like the intent, and just do it myself. Or if they send a PR, I will extract the intent out of it and just rebuild it myself. Or sometimes I base it off. I still mark them co-author, but very rare that I actually merge code directly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right, man. Well, I mean, like, I guess the takeaway from this conversation is like, my takeaway at is like, don't get crazy with the slop generators. Just actually have the human in the loop, because the human is still bringing the taste and everything, right? You have to guide it.
Yeah, or like don't find your own path. You know, like some people always ask me, how do you do that? How do you do that? You gotta explore. You're like, it will take you a while to be good. You have to make your own mistakes. That's how you learn everything in life. And that's also how to learn those things. Just that this space is evolving very fast.
And where can people find CloudBot?
Yeah, cloud.bot. It's also on GitHub.
It's a cloud with a W, CLAWD, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Like the lobster claws.
Yeah, got it. Thanks so much, Peter. This is a super great conversation. I need to give Claude a try myself, because I don't like sitting on my computer to talk to the AI. I like to just like be on the go and just like give it instructions, make it do stuff while I'm out with my kids. Like that would be the ideal way for me. So it's good that you built something like that.
I'm looking forward to see what your opinion is on that. I think you're gonna like it.
All right, man. Well, it's great chatting with you, and I think we'll stop right here.